Good morning, everyone. Every morning is an invitation to begin again, to design your day with intention, and to set the tone for the life you want to live. Too often we wake up and rush straight into noise, into distractions, into a world that demands from us before we have given anything to ourselves. But when you learn to shape your mornings, you learn to shape your life. Small, consistent habits in those first hours have the power to change everything about your mindset, your energy, and your future. When you wake up in the morning, the first thing your mind wants to do is often to search for stimulation. The phone on the bedside table, the notifications waiting to be checked, the endless stream of messages and updates, they call out to you before you even open your eyes fully. But here's the truth. The way you begin your day determines the energy that will carry you through it. If your first act is to jump into noise, then noise will follow you all day. If your first act is to choose silence, then silence will give you strength and clarity for whatever comes next. Think about it. When was the last time you allowed yourself to wake up slowly, to breathe deeply, to simply sit in stillness without rushing? Silence in the morning is not about doing nothing. It's about making space for everything. It's about giving your mind a moment to settle, giving your heart a chance to catch up, and giving your soul the freedom to align before the world places its demands on you. In that quiet, you discover that you are not behind, you are not late, you are not lacking. You are enough, right here and right now. When you sit in silence, you begin to notice your own thoughts. At first, they may feel scattered, rushing in every direction. But as you allow the stillness to grow, those thoughts settle. You start to hear your inner voice, the part of you that is often drowned out by constant distraction. That voice carries wisdom, peace, and guidance. It's the part of you that knows what matters most, but rarely gets a chance to speak. Some people say they don't have time for silence, but silence doesn't require hours. It only requires intention. Even 2 minutes of sitting with your breath, listening to the morning, or simply being present without reaching for something external can change how you feel for the rest of the day. In those few moments, you create distance between yourself and the world's demands. You give yourself the power to respond instead of react. Silence in the morning is like laying a foundation for a building. If the foundation is shaky, everything that comes after is unstable. But if the foundation is strong, no matter how heavy the structure, it will stand tall. That's what silence does. It gives you grounding. It roots you so that when chaos comes later, you are not easily shaken. The more you practice beginning your mornings with silence, the more you'll notice a shift. You'll feel calmer, more centered, and more intentional. And the best part is, it isn't about perfection. Some mornings you may only manage a few breaths, but even that is enough to remind you that peace is always available. It's not outside of you, it begins within you. Movement is one of the most powerful ways to tell your body and your mind that a new day has begun. Too often we roll out of bed and carry yesterday's heaviness into today. We drag ourselves into routines, hoping that energy will just appear. But energy is not something you stumble upon. It's something you create. And the simplest, most natural way to create it is by moving your body. It doesn't have to be complicated. You don't need a gym membership, expensive equipment, or a strict routine. What matters is that you wake your body up and remind yourself that you are alive. Stretching, walking, yoga, a quick work, out even just dancing for a few minutes in your room. All of these awaken your muscles, increase your blood flow, and release endorphins that shift your entire mood. When you choose movement, you are choosing to begin your day with vitality rather than exhaustion. There's a deeper truth here as well. Movement in the morning is not only about physical health, it's about training your mind. When you commit to moving your body, even when you don't feel like it, you teach yourself discipline. You remind yourself that you are stronger than your excuses. This lesson doesn't stay in the gym or on the yoga mat. It follows you into every area of your life. If you can overcome resistance in those first moments of the day, you are more prepared to overcome resistance in your work, your relationships, and your goals. Movement also helps you release what you no longer need. Every day we carry stress, tension, and worry in our bodies without realizing it. A tight neck, a heavy chest, an aching back. These are often signs that we are holding on to emotions we haven't let go of. Morning movement shakes that energy loose. It clears space within you so that you don't carry yesterday's weight into today's opportunities. And perhaps the most beautiful part of morning movement is the connection it creates between body and mind. Too often we live only in our heads, thinking, worrying, planning, analyzing. But when you move your body, you reconnect with yourself fully. You remember that you are not just thoughts racing in your mind. You are strength, breath, rhythm, and life. Every step, every stretch, every conscious breath during movement is a declaration. I am awake, I am alive, and I am ready. And when you begin your mornings this way, you don't just start the day. You set the tone for the life you are building. What you feed your mind in the morning becomes the foundation of your thoughts, emotions, and decisions throughout the day. Think about it. If the very first thing you see after opening your eyes is negativity, comparison, or chaos from social media, that becomes the lens through which you experience the rest of the day. But when you consciously choose to nourish your mind with something uplifting, you plant seeds of wisdom, peace, and strength that grow as the hours unfold. Your mind is like a garden. If you plant weeds, weeds will grow. If you plant flowers, you'll see beauty bloom. The morning is the most fertile soil because your mind is fresh, open, and unshaped by the noise of the world. This is why those first inputs matter so much. Choosing to read a few pages from an inspiring book, listening to a podcast that expands your perspective, or even reflecting on a powerful quote can shift the entire trajectory of your day. It's not about how long you spend doing it. It's about the intention you set by giving your mind something meaningful to hold on to. So many people wonder why their days feel heavy, stressful, or draining. And often it's because they've allowed unhealthy input to take root in their minds before they've even brushed their teeth. If you start the day with comparison, you'll carry insecurity. If you start with fear-driven news, you'll carry anxiety. But if you start with uplifting content, you carry clarity, hope, and direction. This is not about ignoring the reality of the world, but about strengthening yourself before you face it. Just as you wouldn't step into a storm without a coat, you shouldn't step into your day without preparing your mind. Positive input in the morning acts as your armor. It doesn't remove challenges, but it gives you the resilience to meet them differently. The truth is, your morning input becomes your inner voice. If you listen to wisdom, encouragement, and truth at the start of the day, then when challenges arise, those same voices will echo within you. They'll remind you of your worth, your strength, and your ability to choose peace over panic. The morning is not just about waking your body, it's about awakening your mind. When you feed it with light, you carry that light into every room you enter, every conversation you have, and every choice you make. And over time, those small choices create a life that feels less like survival and more like purpose. Gratitude has the power to transform the way you see your life, and the morning is the perfect time to practice it. Too often, we wake up and immediately focus on what's missing, what we don't have yet, what went wrong yesterday, or what we fear might go wrong today. That mindset creates a cycle of lack and stress before the day has even begun. But when you start your morning by acknowledging what you already have, you shift your energy from scarcity to abundance, from restlessness to contentment. Gratitude doesn't have to be complicated. It can be as simple as placing your hand on your heart and saying, "I'm grateful to wake up today." It can be acknowledging the roof over your head, the food you eat, the people who love you, or even the challenges that are shaping you into someone stronger. When you do this consistently, you begin to realize that life is not measured only by achievements or possessions, but by the richness of experiences, relationships, and simple joys we often overlook. The beauty of gratitude is that it rewires your brain. When you focus on what's good, your mind becomes more attuned to noticing goodness throughout the day. The little moments, sunlight pouring through a window, a stranger's smile, the comfort of your morning tea, suddenly become sources of joy. You begin to see that happiness is not hidden in some faraway future. It is scattered all around you in the present moment. Gratitude also softens the weight of struggle. When life feels overwhelming, it's easy to drown in what's going wrong. But even in those moments, gratitude acts as a lifeline. It doesn't erase pain, but it gives perspective. It reminds you that even in the darkest times, there are flickers of light. That reminder alone can give you the strength to keep going. When you start your mornings with gratitude, you set the tone for how you interact with others. You become more compassionate, patient, and kind. Gratitude shifts your focus from what people owe you to what you can appreciate in them. And that shift doesn't just change your day. It changes your relationships, your work, and ultimately your entire life. Gratitude is not about waiting for everything to be perfect. It's about finding meaning in the imperfect and joy in the ordinary. When you learn to begin your mornings this way, you'll discover that your life already holds more than enough to be thankful for, and that realization alone can change everything. Every morning when you wake up, you are standing at a crossroads. The day ahead of you is like a blank page, and how you choose to step into it will decide the story that gets written. Most of us step into our days without clarity. We let emails, messages, tasks, and other people's demands dictate our direction. But when you start your morning by setting an intention, you take back the pen. You decide not only what you want to do today, but more importantly, who you want to be. An intention is not the same as a goal. Goals are about outcomes, what you want to achieve. Intentions are about alignment, how you want to show up in the process. A goal says, "I want to finish this project." An intention says, "I want to approach this project with patience and focus." A goal says, "I want to have a conversation." An intention says, "I want to bring kindness and understanding to this conversation." When you set an intention each morning, you create a compass for your day. No matter how chaotic things get, you can return to that compass and realign yourself. The power of intention lies in its simplicity. You don't need to write an essay or spend hours in reflection. You can ask yourself one question: what kind of person do I want to be today? Maybe you want to be patient. Maybe you want to be brave. Maybe you want to be present with the people you love. That single thought can guide your actions and decisions in ways you don't even realize. Intentions are also deeply personal. No one else can set them for you, because no one else knows what your soul needs in this moment. Some days your intention may be to work hard, and other days it may be to rest. Some days it may be to forgive, and other days it may be to create. The point is not to get it right, but to start your day with awareness instead of autopilot. When you carry an intention through your day, you live with more meaning. Even small actions, listening to a friend, completing a task, or taking care of yourself, become infused with purpose. And when you string enough intentional days together, you look back and realize you've been building a life of alignment, not just achievement. Every morning offers you this choice. to drift with the current, or to steer with direction. Setting an intention is how you remind yourself that you are not just surviving the day, you are shaping it. And over time, those shaped days become a shaped life. Life doesn't change in one grand moment. It changes in the quiet choices we make every single day. The way you start your morning is not just a routine. It is a message to yourself about how much you value your time, your energy, and your purpose. When you begin with silence, you find clarity. When you move your body, you awaken strength. When you feed your mind uplifting truths, you shape your perspective. When you practice gratitude, you open your heart. And when you set an intention, you create direction. These habits may seem small, almost too simple to matter, but they are the threads that weave the fabric of your life. One silent morning becomes one peaceful day. One act of movement becomes one empowered decision. One word of gratitude becomes one deeper connection. And when you repeat them, they grow into a rhythm that transforms who you are and how you experience the world. Every morning is a gift, a chance to begin again, to design a life that feels aligned, fulfilling, and purposeful. You don't need to wait for a new year, a milestone, or a breakthrough. Your transformation can start with the next sunrise. And if you commit to these practices, not perfectly, but consistently, you will look back and realize that your mornings didn't just change your days, they changed your life forever.